Hey everyone, welcome back to the North American LCS. I am David Freak Tierlin. With me for our final two games of the day is Aiden Zyrene Moon. And don't think I wasn't paying attention last week. You were casting with Riv. I'm not okay with that.
Oh, man. Sometimes I had to improve with other people,
Nope, doesn't matter.
You know.
Yep, you're here now. We're good. We're gearing up for our fourth match. Team Dignitas versus Counter Logic Gaming, and I'm still mad at you, Zyrene. Last week's all eyes were on CLG's rivalry showdown against TSM. And even though CLG lost, the team were playing incredibly well.
Open caster relationship. A lot of teams that lose a game where they are up 4 Dragons, Baron, and an Inhib would be really discouraged. But counter to that logic, they felt pretty good. Doublelift actually took to Twitter to congratulate his opponents and say that it was the most fun game that he's ever played. And Scar also did a vlog where he said that they're going to bounce back stronger than ever. And a big part of that game and their success has been Zion Spartan in particular. He was playing great, and it looks to be a golden age of his own.
Yeah, he's been absolutely incredible. Overall, CLG, definitely a very good team this split. On the other side, though, Dignitas are still showing overall poor results. They're in a tie for 8th place right now. But they're 2-2 since they got Cloud win. They're getting a little bit better. They're better emotionally for sure, and there might be some light at the end of that tunnel.
Yeah, we've heard a few of his teammates talk about how Cloudwin's play style is more in line with how they want to play as a whole. And that being said, Cloudwin is still relatively new to the LCS, and he's making some mistakes while the rest of his team is playing well. So as he levels up and becomes more acclimated to the LCS as a whole, it could see Team Dignitas moving out of the bottom of the standings and being a real contender for those mid spots.
Oh, what better way to prove it than beating CLG right here on this stage. Now, before we get ourselves into the game, let's check out the starting lineups. On the blue side, Team Dignitas. In the top lane is Gamsu. In the jungle is Cloud and Win. Mid shifter, AD carry Core JJ, and supporting Kiwi Kid.
And on the red side, it's Counter Logic Gaming. Top is Zion Spartan. Jungle Smithy, mid Link, AD carry Doublelift, and on support, Afromu.
So Afromu, what some people were considering a mid-season MVP for Counter Logic Gaming. Gotta say, he's definitely been impressive, but what I will say is the bottom lane of Dignitas is on a pretty darn good hot streak right now, winning their lanes against the likes of Cloud9, TSM, and more.
A lot of that is Kiwi Kid, too, and just synergizing with Core JJ over time. They're reading each other better when they want to go aggressive and when they want to play passive. And Kiwi Kid fares extremely well on engage pick supports.
Yep.
So we'll see if they can secure one for him here in this champ select.
Annie and Thresh, Annie and Thresh. No surprise, Annie got banned. That's not very fresh. Dignitas have banned away Callista from CLG's Doublelift. The Nidalee goes away from Link, one of the only middle-y players I've seen so far in this league. No big surprises.
Yeah, and still, Lissandra needs to be taken off the table very shortly. Vi is something that Smithy's been seeing a lot of success on. If they want to leave that up for him, banning a jungler away is not a huge deal. But actually, Dignitas banning away the Lissandra on blue side, so they don't want to first pick this. Kassadin still available as well.
Yeah, that is a very big one. Kassadin a high priority. We're seeing a little bit less emphasis on champions like Gnar. Maokai back in the fold is a pretty popular top laner anyway, and if Dignitas want to play a more defensive lineup, then Maokai is just fine. Sivir, interestingly, the last ban by Counter Logic Gaming.
So right now, this is 5.3, so Ahri has taken a little bit of a revert in her power on a couple abilities. So Shifter, they could first pick that for him still, but the Kassadin is a very safe pick. It's flexible, and they might pick that up immediately here. But
well, they've got time to choose. I, by the way, agree with you on Kassadin. Shifter last week looked better than he has all year on Kassadin, and I want to keep seeing him on those individually empowered playmakers. It's a very long hover on Rumble.
Yeah, the thing here with Rumble, too, is if they pick it first, they take it away from Zion Spartan, who's been showing a ton of teamfight prowess. He's no longer that Zion Spartan that's only going to split push. He's now able to show up to fights and have a very large impact with his champion pool.
Well, actually, keep in mind, Counter Logic Gaming are a team that are happy to play against Kassadin, so grabbing the first pick as your top laner, letting that champion go by for later, maybe smart here for Dignitas. So Rumble, the first pick for Dig Gamsu. Going to be hitting some flame spitters.
Gamsu is kind of the light here for Dignitas. You talked about their bottom lane. Gamsu has had really good performances. Even in their losses, he's one of the, it's kind of what it's worth, lower dying members on the team.
Sure.
He usually has the least deaths, even in their losses. Last week, he was playing Renekton, had huge success on that as a top lane bully. And he's also #1 at CS at 10 minutes. So he
Nice.
is a big part of their early game, and if Gamsu can get off the ground with this Rumble, he can show up to those mid-game fights with a hefty amount of CS, possibly his Sork Shoes already completed, and ready to wreak havoc.
Well, we'll see if he can do that. Powerful landing against a guy like Zion Spartan is sometimes hard to do, but Gamsu has so far shown good results in that position. Counterlogic Gaming, well, now that explains the Sivir ban, of course, they want that Vi that you talked about for Smithy. And looks like that might just be what he goes for. The Maokai, the defensive tank, will be here, so CLG hiding really all of their lanes so far, just counterpicking what they feel like.
Yep, they're going for some pick here with a little bit of tankiness. Already got their front line locked down so that they can have good lanes for their actual damage dealers here. I think that Counterlogic Gaming over time, their cleanest games, their best games to me, stick out when they are on an engaged type composition that picks you off. So Afromu and Kiwi Kid both play about the same style right now.
Yep.
Afromu has a little more rotational play with his team involved as opposed to solo play. So them taking away the Annie and the Morgana, he's going to have to fall back on something else. I don't think the Jen is going to fall in here because they just want to engage.
Yeah, typically the case here. We'll see what CLG goes for. The Maokai pick now surprises me a little bit because you got the Morgana coming in, who's traditionally very good at Vi. You Black Shield, the ulti target, and life goes well. Shifter is going to get his Kassadin, though. I do like this very much, but CLG famously are, again, a team that is happy to deal with that champion. Doublelift will play new Tristana here. Locks that in right away, and it's Braum for Afromu.
All right, so there is a little bit of pick potential there, but this is shaping up to be more team fighty and peely at this point. For Doublelift, this is not the same Tristana that becomes the late game hyper carry. This is a tower destructive AD carry that throws on her E and then just chunks it out. Her attack speed per level is one of the lowest in the game.
Yeah.
She gets 1% per level. And then she really relies on those windows of having her rapid fire on. So Doublelift is not going to be able to make as many plays in terms of team fights, but this is going to be an objective-based pick-you-off composition, which is what CLG likes to do.
Well, that's smart for CLG. The problem is they only have one damage dealer so far in the lineup, so if it's not Doublelift, Link needs to wear the carry pants, and Team Dignitas keep going for very mobile and pretty aggressive champions. So Jungle Rek'Sai comes in for Cloudwin. CoreJJ plays Lucian.
I mean, Dignitas talked about becoming a more ham team, and they're doing it right there. All these champions across the board. The Morgana is there for a little bit of defense, but this is a team that wants to brawl you mid-game, early game, and then have the Kassadin as insurance and hopefully get him online so that they have that late-game possibility.
Yeah, Shifter can definitely do a whole lot of crazy things if he does get himself rolling. Dignitas looking for early pressure, but of course a team with Tristana looks for something a bit similar, so these guys might butt heads pretty often and looking for some similar situations. 24 seconds for CLG's last champion here. What is Link going to play? Is it mid-Vi? Unlikely.
He still has basically his pick of the litter here.
Yeah, all he's lost in Italy.
Kassadin, Nidalee just off the field, that's it. Shifter went 10-1-9 last week on Kassadin, so he's going to have to pick something that can deal with Shifter early, because Shifter has that very passive play style where he just wants to farm up and then take it to you later on. So if Link is going to try to farm up alongside him, or is he going to take something that he can possibly kill mid lane with?
Oh, wow. So Link looking to maybe push around Shifter and keep him under his turret, keep him under farmed. CLG, not the highest damage dealers for the late game, though, whereas Dignitas do have a sort of quadruple threat lineup, with Rek'Sai even having a decent amount of damage there. CLG looking for a lot of ranged champions and a lot of sieging with a gigantic tank line to keep them safe.
Yeah, the thing that sticks out to me here, though, is Dignitas really relies on their wave clear from CoreJJ.
Yeah.
He is the sole wave clearer of this team. And that's a big problem, because CLG can dive you, they can pick you off. If you can't clear these waves fast enough, they out-rotate you.
That's true. Yeah, Tristana, Maokai, all these guys really good at killing off minion waves, so CLG maybe looking more for a fast-paced game then. If they want to pressure this one in the mid-game, we'll see if they can do it. CLG only one game behind Team Sulamit for first place. They want to catch up by the end of the season. They're going to need to pick up wins like this. Dignitas, meanwhile, themselves looking for ways, and of course, right, Skara facing his old team of Dignitas, and the nice hug with him with Mylixia as they head off stage.
Found his way off stage that time.
That's true. He's warmed up rather nicely. Now, guys at home, it's time to do the Twitter thing. Send hashtag DIGWin or hashtag CLGWin to @LoL so we can see how you're calling this match.
Yeah, right now, just based off the picks, you have to see how they play it out. But we're going to see in just a second.
Here we go, guys. The big screen. They're going to move sideways after the logos show up, and then Summoner's Rift. It's like behind a vault door. These guys are ready to go. Dignitas out of the blue side. CLG in red.
It's really a curious composition here from Dignitas. They're going to have to make very aggressive moves, and if they fall behind early and CLG start getting those deeper wards in, it's going to spell disaster.
Well, it's going to be a little bit on Shifter then for the late game of Dignitas if they get there. But Shifter himself hasn't been playing at his peak this split. Link, however, believes that it's more to do with his team than the player himself.
I feel like Shifter has been playing a lot worse compared to last season. Before he would always be kind of like that leader in KDA, and like he'd always be the one who's like 1v5ing on his team. I feel like right now I don't know, it just seems like Dignitas isn't like the team for him right now. It feels like he doesn't have like the trust in his teammates or something like that. I don't know. There's just something that's going on where it feels like his mid play just in general is lacking.
Well, speaking of a team not performing very well, they start the game with 2 deaths. Counter Logic Gaming.
Trust in your teammates was a big part of that. Dignitas had the jump. They had vision of CLG entering the jungle, and then they're the ones who end up losing 2 members. A lot of that was off of Afromu, throwing out the Winters by applying so much damage and so much stun here. Dignitas have the jump. They throw out the Q, they get it on them, and they get the 4-person knockup from Cloud-Win. But here's the thing, is the damage output of Rek'Sai is extremely stunted when you start with that W. So he just has to run out of there while he's taking all of these auto attacks.
I like how Doublelift had initially Rocket jumped in and then flashed backwards and then got the reset and Rocket jumped in for the second one. The chasing damage a bit better. Smithy also started E for the AoE.
Big thing, Afromu tagging as many people as possible with concussive blows. That was huge in that fight.
So, early gambit by Dignitas does fail, and CLG start this game in a lane swap situation.
I was just saying that if Dignitas get behind early, it could spell disaster with this early mid-game composition. CLG, they have about as good early lead as you could have right now.
One of the better starts
Oh,
in
yeah.
the Legends I've seen. Might be a happy play. Shifter up against Link, though. Both these guys level 2. Looks like they did at least get to lanes on time. Thankfully for Dignitas, their deaths were early in the game. But it does mean Smithy is going to look plenty aggressive. Vault Breaker available, and of course with his duo lane top side, should be able to easily acquire this blue buff.
Yeah, and he gets to do that because he has his flash up as well, and he knows that Cloud-Win's is down. So if Cloud-Win shows up, he still has that advantage over him.
That's a pretty good advantage to have. Smite's up. Blue buff should be secured. Cloud-Win, of course, should know he's on the strong side of the map. He's himself looking for a blue buff steal. No flash on him, but I don't believe he's going to be contested as he takes down the Scuttler first.
I love taking out the Scuttler as Rek'Sai because it's basically an extra health potion. It doesn't deal any damage to you, and you get your passive.
Well, not going for the blue buff yet, though. Looking to pressure mid. Link did burn Flash, and Shifter has his with his E charge. Nope, not going to try it all. I'll take it back.
Yeah, at this point in the game, you really have to take stock of who blue flashes at the start, especially if you're Cloud-Win, and how to push that advantage. Because if you saw that Doublelift flashed, you should head to that lane. You saw Link flash, head to that lane. Rek'Sai has enough early pressure, that's fine. And look at this Smithy trying to push them out. They're still just level 1, and it's been a slow shove. He shows up at the top at the right time. They zone him off.
Such good zoning. They're not even able to fight with the turret behind them, so Dignitas forced to run well away, and they miss the double wave. Smithy showing up in time to make sure no one could defend. Dignitas lose a ton of experience.
Yeah, they can't get any of that experience. Gamsu's still level 1. It has been a perfect slow push by Doublelift and Afromu, and rotation by Smithy.
Ooh. Wow, in they go. Gamsu forced to flash away, takes a bomb to the face. He's going to stay alive for now, though, but look at this. Just how miserable life must be for Dignitas down in this lane. CLG playing wonderful over here.
This has got to be the worst feeling in the world.
Why even stay?
You're still
There's no
level
jungle.
1. You're not going to get anything for this. They're going to keep doing this.
Yeah, the minion lines die fast enough, thanks to partially the Targon stacks and everything else, that there is no gain to the Dignitas lineup.
This is a shot calling thing. Where do you go from here? Cloud-Win has to
Gromp.
to do something.
Go right there.
They should do something else besides this.
And once again, Gamsu getting jumped on. Doublelift does land a few basic attacks. Nice Dark Binding, but there's no help from anyone else on the team. He sat around, lost 4 waves in a row, and CLG took a turret down.
They get a turret at 5 minutes, and they go up 2.2k gold with 2 kills. This is huge for CLG, recognizing that they should just keep Gamsu down. You first pick that Rumble, lane swap on it, and just slow push it and zone him out. Very brilliantly done, and he doesn't even get a massive wave of experience. Really good by Xmithy and the calls of CLG to pull up at the right time for the denial.
Yeah, very good on them to be there in time. Nice attempt by Cloud1. He had the chance of stealing the blue buff away. Instead, he went towards his own jungle. He went towards the top lane. He tried to go support his team up on the turret dive, thinking the push was going to come in, but just outplayed by CLG. By the way, Zion Spartan's been 1v1ing down in here.
Yeah, oh yeah.
33 minions. He's actually tied with Core JJ, by the way.
Yes.
To contrast the other lane.
Yeah, and here's the thing, is they're swapping Doublelift down to this lane immediately to continue shoving turret. Sure, Core JJ's level 5, he got some solo experience, but now Zion Spartan gets to go be level 5 up against Gamsu, who's level 3, close to level 4 after a couple minion waves, but it's going to equalize again. This is really just huge strategic play by CLG to create these advantages.
And I gotta say, that Twitter vote came in before that level 1 in this lane swap happened, because those numbers are going to keep going up, by the way, if you keep ticking on these, because CLG has such a high chance of winning this game from their amazing early plays. And now after the lane swap, they could contest Dragon. It's not the answer yet, but also keep in mind there's a long lane top lane that they could keep pressuring as well to just keep punching Gamsu in the face.
Gamsu's pretty much been punched somewhere else this game, because his CS 18, that is just a big swift kick. He hasn't even gotten it back yet, either. He's just having to stay in that lane forever.
Well, what would you buy? All right.
You can't buy anything. He's got no gold.
Got an Amp Tome and a couple of wards. I mean, thankfully, Ambient Gold is bigger in Season 5 than last year. Ooh. Hey. So part of the reason Lucian got picked, I have to imagine, is because of Braum. His Q can actually go through the Unbreakable shield, so there's actually some way to poke Doublelift down. They are on equal item tiers, AD carry-wise, so maybe something good happens here for Dignitas.
It would have to be in this bottom lane. We've seen a lot of good things happen for Dignitas. They've won a lot of their 2-on-2s that we saw a couple weeks ago when Core JJ and Kiwi Kid were just on the same page with their aggression. Kiwi Kid, if he lands a binding, they'll get really good favorable trades, and then that can start edging Doublelift out of this lane.
Maybe they can. Another Q lands for poke. Doublelift, though, does have a health potion to his name, so sustain might be enough to keep him safe. Instead, though, we're looking at the junglers both top side of the map. Cloud1's trying to sneak in, maybe make something good happen for Gamsu up here. Smithy is not actually lurking anywhere near that, but no gank happens for Cloud1.
Zion's not even just going to push his advantage. He's going to CS and let this wave, since it is formulating and pushing towards his turret, he's just going to CS very slowly. He has no rush to shove this out and give Gamsu free farm. And that's been the strategy this entire game.
Well, low chance of success for this gank right here. With Drop Your Buff, he knows he's not seen. And a nice jump keeps him in Fog of War, lurking to go around behind the Kassadin.
This is really risky. He does have the Assault and Battery, but he has to be on the same page as Link. And it is a level 6 Kassadin who has his flash available. There's a lot of distance he can cover.
There's a lot he can cover. We'll see. Half HP turret, not really getting sieged. Already stays in Fog of War. Are they playing around the blue?
I mean, the blue is up, right?
Yeah. But a nice juke back by Shifter. Wards over the wall, says something is wrong, and he's right about that.
Yeah, there you go. So immediately Smithy starts going towards that blue. He had the timer on it previously, so he's just going to pick that up. Possibly hand that off to Link, we'll have to see. But spend a lot of time being ready for a gank there. And now Gamsu, he's going to check this.
He's ready for it too. Cloud1 not level 6, can't get across the map. Gamsu, good smite away by Smithy, and out he goes. And Link kills him off. It's the timer for it.
Yep, killed one.
Oh,
still one left.
Oh, shoot. I forgot, yeah, 21 gold is what only one of them is worth. So, who knows?
He's bottom lane.
Wow, that was really well played. Flash is up for Afro, but it doesn't matter. Nice gank. Dignitas are on the board.
This is where Dignitas need to push an advantage. Core JJ, he had that level up. But this is the lane that has been constantly winning for them in their games. Even in 2-on-2 against Piglet and Wild Turtle. This lane was flourishing off of engages by Kiwi Kid. Lands the binding on Afro move. Boom. Great trade. Great kill pickup there for Dignitas. Cloud1, he needs more of that type of pressure, though.
We'll see what else he can find. His flash is up, as his ultimate now is a level 6 Rek'Sai. But he's got to be careful about this pressure in the top lane. Zion, Spartan, and Smithy are ready to counteract anything that might happen as a big wave pushes in and threatens Gamsu's experience levels. 7 for Smithy. Left side jungle pretty well controlled with a couple of wards. And he's not very good against that.
Level 8 to finally level 6 here from Gamsu. Cloud1 makes his way up there, but Xmithy's already backed off. very, very low on dragon control this game so far. Nobody's really rushed it because of that top lane. And then when they swapped it down, it was all about just bullying this bottom lane and trying to get to the turret. But CLG kind of hit a wall. Because normally when you swap it back, you're like, all right, our AD carry has an advantage because we picked up a kill, and then you shove it down because you're like, I have BF Sword to pickaxe. And you eventually shove it. Didn't happen because Tristana versus Lucian in this matchup. Right now.
Tristana versus Lucian, no local gold was actually gained by the AD carry itself. CLG, because the turret went down so fast, ultimately, they weren't able to force a better recall. His extra gold went into boots of speed, which, hey, is nice, but you're still facing a standard 2-on-2 at that point. Without a gigantic experience disparity. So Dignitas, their 2-on-2 power was kind of unthreatened there.
They're going to try to camp this.
Ooh, this is nice. Kid not 6, but Aphromoo is. More ultimates available for CLG. CoreJJ shows. Does not reveal Kid. Now he reveals himself. Nothing gained.
Ships in the night.
Tries again. Kills 3 minions. That's nice. Nice trick shot. Uh-oh. He got bit by Winter. Do you think in June Braum's Q is less powerful? I guess in Oceania it gets better.
Yeah, I was about to be like, if you're in Australia, then it's fine.
All right. One of their metas backwards.
Smithy is reading this aggression, and he's coming down bottom right now.
He burned his escape right there, so if they can break the Black Shield with a Buster Shot from Trist, they don't go for it. All right. He could have.
Just Buster Shot him backwards, so...
Buster Shot to break Black Shield.
So you can buy ult him under the turret.
Hey, if you were hardcore, you'd do it. Actually, I've played with you. You would do that.
I would. Anyway, so... I love the fact that they have all this pressure across the map from both sides and nobody's really taken over this game completely. And now CLG are starting to do the Dragon. Basically, the tempo was that early game denying Gamsu, and then they haven't gotten much for it. But look at this, double flashes.
The first Dragon goes down, they get the timer. Yep, flash trade. Badwin's going to be safe. Good read to see that Zion was going for that.
Yeah, Zion couldn't close that distance. And now, after getting that Dragon, they immediately rotate towards the middle lane here. And the bottom lane isn't responding yet. They're still trying to shove this out.
Oh, wow. So they got to pull Morgana up. She's only heading up right now. It's going to be too quickly. Double lift with double AD items, and boom! Turret blows up.
Yep. That's what they need to do with Tristana, is just keep rotating their power and have Tristana be supplemental turret damage. That is how you play this new Tristana. I think they're just going to do that again, except bottom lane. They're just going to keep rotating like this.
Let's see if they can finally push that one down. So far, though, CoreJJ and KiwiKid have been unwilling to give up control over their lane. But CLG might not take no for an answer.
They're even positioned in that lane. They just don't want to leave that lane on the bottom.
That's true. Well, we'll see what happens. They've got Cloudwind nearby as well. Maybe he can do something here. No one else from CLG is ready to protect this. But you got to be careful. Devil just does not want to stop hitting this thing.
Hits it again. That's it right there.
Oh, one more attack. Minions do it. Double lift gets local gold. 3 turrets right off the bat for CLG.
So now the pick composition has to turn online. Xmithy has to start getting deeper wards, and they have to start picking people off if they want those tier 2 turrets. Their siege is better than Dignitas's, just because Dignitas lacks a lot of wave clear. It's really up to CoreJJ at this point. And Dignitas want to fight you around this point, but they're behind 4K gold already.
Exactly. That's really the big threat, or the big difficulty, is you can't play a chaotic game when Chaos ensures that you're going to lose the fights anyway because of the gold disparity. So, difficulty right now for Dignitas to navigate this game properly. Thankfully for them, tier 2 turrets are hard to kill. They're generally pretty well protected. Those shields are nice, and we'll see if that allows them the time to scale back up and keep themselves afloat. Shifter, only down 15 CS to Link, not horrible. CoreJJ stacking up pretty nicely. Gamsu is at least getting to freeze this lane, so maybe he comes online before too long. Nice bind. Whoa!
That was close.
Nice.
Both AD carries actually went for, instead of the Cloak of Agility, we see a Vamp Scepter for double lift, and then we see an Avery's Blade here for CoreJJ.
Huh.
That's
Okay. So I like Zerk by the way.
Yeah.
I like Zerk for doubles because he has no reason to crit towers. They can't. And the attack speed makes his E better because he can stack it up. Okay, cool. This is like him still using the power spike here. CoreJJ is like hoping that the game does stall out off tier 2 turrets, that Rice Blade makes him farm up, and he gets to hit that next power spike sooner. And he's looking at, I would say Shiv probably more so than Yomu's, as his Iris Blade item.
We have seen a lot of Lucian go Yomu stuff.
That's true. I actually asked Forgiven about it the other day, and he actually doesn't like it on Lucian himself. But there are other schools of thought, of course.
Okay. Yeah, but the Average Blade is definitely something he's looking to scale up with, which is definitely something they have to do with this Dignitas comp, because this is not a composition that you look at and you go, oh my god, their late game is crazy. Really only you look at Shifter for that. And Shifter is doing well, just CSing right now. He's a little bit behind, but if a Caston makes it out of lane equal or ahead, you're just like, what they didn't do anything to Caston.
Ooh, couple of good plays by Core JJ, decent damage, but Aframu just...
They're rotating here though, from CLG.
Blocks it.
They immediately back off.
Yeah, the thing is, they still on the inside track. Dignitas seem to have to be careful. They're really good wards, an aggressive pink ward, a couple of greens down there as well. Cloud wins here, but Cassidy is not, and is not a good defender in the first place. Mid lane staying stagnant right now. No one's getting that far just yet. And there goes Ari to pick it up.
CLG have a ton of pressure this game, a ton of presence with these wards in the enemy jungle. They are 5k up, 16 minutes in, but their pressure is it's very strangulating at this point. Because you're 16 minutes starting to hit tier 2 turrets. It's really early.
Yeah, it's very impressive they've had this holding pattern of controlling all this. Baby kid though about to get stunned up, flashes in with the ulti, but doesn't even matter. After he takes a couple shots, in comes the teleport though. It's going to be Zion Spartan joining the fray. A 1 for 0 so far and a CC on the Cloud win. He's got to be real careful. Link picks up the credit on this one. 2-0 CLG off a great teleport.
Immediate collapse off of the pick. CLG know how to collapse when somebody gets caught out. That is their biggest strength right now. And speaking of getting caught out, Gamsu's out of position.
So Gamsu teleported down. He has ulti though with a Leandry. This could be so much damage. They get Afro. Double if though does rocket jump out. Buster shots back to Cassidy. And all is well.
But meanwhile, not to let up any pressure, Zion Spartan and Link are going to continue to get damage on this mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, Kiwi just now respawn. Cloud win also just himself here, but Link with an extra giant bit of damage does knock the turret down pretty low. Ooh, forces the flash from Zion though.
Double lift, returning to the scene of the crime. Continue shoving this bottom wave. They just do not stop. They are unrelenting in their pressure. They know where Dignitas are at almost all times, so they just count members. How many people could possibly deal with me right now? We see 4 people, all right, only 1 dude could come get me. That's okay, I'll continue to push.
So far, so good. Counter Logic Gaming playing the map largely very, very well. That said, kill score has actually been equalized throughout the mid game. Okay, CLG started 2-0 at 2 minutes in, but both teams have gotten 2 kills since then. So the fights have been, for what it's worth, kind of close. In that both teams are able to find picks, but CLG, of course, playing around turrets and dragons really well, means they are still accruing advantages other than just kills.
The fact that they're not kind of flopping around and meandering and doing nothing after they take those outer 3 is a big sign of brilliance, and actually something that a lot of teams struggle with is once you get those outer 3, what do you do? And CLG just don't stop the pressure. A lot of people are afraid of going past their tier 1 safety net, but because they have the ward coverage, the communication to do so, they're playing it very well right now.
They are playing very well. Double AP comp means Xmithy gets himself a Hex Drinker as his second item here, so he's still tanky but does a lot of damage. Dragon on cooldown, the effort for CLG. Wards, I want to see where they go. Xmithy bought 2 on his last recall. Of course, the Sightstone is here for Aframu. And after Dragon 2, what's next for CLG?
They continue to shove this bot wave out, and they'll get deeper wards, but right now Zion has to kind of cede that top turret to Dignitas. They are continuing to put the pressure up there, so that signals to CLG, start pushing bottom. Start getting on this turret. Double Lift can shred this tower very quickly. 3 people will be here if Xmithy rotates, and Shifter is the only one who could possibly answer alongside Core JJ. So a 3-on-2 in the bottom for sacrificing a tier 1 is a worth trade for them.
Yeah, Cloudwind does have the ulti available on Rek'Sai, but it looks like nothing to be gained for that as there's no tunnels to jump to at all. CLG successfully, they get Dragon uncontested and trade tier 2 bot for tier 1 top.
And that just gives them even more pressure. You can look at how just the wards they've allocated to that right side of the jungle in the bottom. That is some strong vision control. That is what allows you these types of objectives very easily. Like, they make it look very easy. And this turret's almost about to go down too. CLG just playing this very, very clean.
Very, very, very cleanly indeed. Couple of wards right there in the enemy jungle. That one only 45 seconds ago it was placed. Baron's up in 8 seconds, Dragons in 4 minutes or so. And I want to see, again, what is next for them as Dignitas still scraping together gold as best they can. They look for a pick on the Link, but I don't see it happening.
And that's how Dignitas gets back in these games, right? They pick you off with a Morgana Binding. They pick you off with getting jumped on by a number of people that you didn't expect to be in that bush. But CLG just have really good ward coverage across the map and really good game sense at this moment. That
Yeah.
my like Braum's back in base, I don't need to push.
Exactly.
Right?
They're aware of when the team wants to push and when the team is backing off. Link clears a wave and backs off because there's no objective at all on the map for them to take right now. It is a very strong team-wide effort by these guys.
Right now, I expect to see just Doublelift pressing top with Zion. This is going to be a push for this turret, but they're also going to shove out mid-wave simultaneously and then chunk that turret out because it only has about 200 HP left, plus that shield. So putting threat on multiple turrets and having superior wave clear allows you to make the rotates very freely.
There's only one, as you mentioned in Champs, like just CoreJJ that's any good at killing off minion waves. Shifter's going to be in a bad spot by himself. Gamsu not going to do a great job either. So Dignitas, though, trying to preempt that, playing more aggressively in their jungle, looking to get a bit of control back and stop that siege before it starts.
They're going
Maybe get the pick.
They're going to go triple threat here and put Zion in the bottom lane to shove it out because he has the TP.
It dies just the minion wave. Shifter, his wave clear is so bad, don't think the champions are required.
You can't deal with this on this Dignitas composition, right? Equalizer's basically your greatest wave clear tool here. Maybe, you know, the Lucian with the culling, I guess, is up there too. But that's the thing, is they don't have any ways to deal with this.
You can see the attempt to pick off Doublelift, not going to happen at all. He actually walks back forward knowing that Dark Blinding's down, just because he knows he can.
Doesn't care. Keep the pressure up. Keep as many people of Dignitas here so Zion Spartan can slowly push towards the base.
Push towards the base he is. Of course, bot tier 2 is already dead, but heck, pressuring an inhibitor is not a bad thing. I think the Zion Spartan's been in this spot of the map like 90% of his League of Legends games where he's like pushing up against an inhib turret alone away from his entire team.
As Maokai now.
Hey, why not?
He's not an Nasus, he's not a Jax, he's just going Maokai on this one.
Still want to see Omrecker. Do it, Zion.
One day. We've seen Banner of Commands, stranger things
Drop portal, dude.
happening. Oh man, that item exists.
Totally fits his play style.
I was actually talking with Reyna, the person who was working on that item. I was like, how do you even say that? Because it's like ZZ Rot. Is it ZZ Rot? Apparently, it's almost like if a bee was telling you shh. It's like ZZ Rot.
Okay.
It's like a void-sounding buzz. ZZ Rot.
Rot.
ZZ Rot.
Why not? I'm never going to do that right. I'm not even going to try.
Oh, and the ZZ Rot!
Yep, not happening. Sorry. But at least you say Vagar properly. And actually, Dash got it right in the interview today. I was really proud of him.
Anyway, you can see the continued pressure. Gamsu's going down bottom to deal with this, but all 5 members of CLG are pressing this last tier 2 turret that they have to knock down before they're at inhibitor turn.
Oh man, just a great play by Counterlogic Gaming. Gamsu had to go hold the bot lane by himself, but all 5 of CLG were already pushing the top side, and the game is slipping farther and farther away. 8,000 gold puts Counterlogic Gaming ahead 23 minutes in.
8,000 gold with only a 2-kill lead, and nobody is more than 50 CS over somebody else, and that's only one lane.
Yeah.
This is a big lead off of turrets, and you're seeing right here, CLG are looking for a pick.
Wow.
This will help them.
Oh, he missed the ward, but they
Ooh.
attacked it anyway. They actually didn't see him.
Man, you see a ward, you gotta go for it. It's just
That's
your instinct.
funny. Well, turret's going to get hit. Gamsu did at least get the free time to push this down a little bit, but he's such a slow pusher.
They get complete ward control over this area of Baron that they can start baiting it, but Zion Spartan's gonna back, and they're still gonna try to death brush this. If Dignitas don't check it, they're actually doing the right thing right now, but you can't know otherwise. They do have a scrying orb though.
Yeah, they
or
just
JJ.
tunneled Rek'Sai, and they can see people are standing around. If CLG move at all, they know they're not doing
Oh,
it.
there's the TP from Zion to the back line.
Oh my gosh, he is
They're
so
trying to
up.
fight this.
Gamsu is not teleporting in yet. Oh, CC and Cloud win. He flashes, but even Y goes down right off the bat. Rocket Jump in for Doublelift, nearly takes down CoreJJ with a crit or two.
Once you get a pick, it allows you to go towards that Baron. There's no threat of a smite steal now from Cloud Win.
And the only chance to steal is a whole bunch of bursts from everyone else on the team, and that seems pretty unlikely. And CLG right off the bat are going to start up on Baron. There's no tunnels nearby, so the ulti for Cloudwind not quite a great option. They walk back and forth, waiting for the fight to start. Pink ward near the wall lets them see the advance. Dignitas still won't bite.
Nope. CLG still aren't going for that Baron. They want to start picking you off, or picking Dignitas off, so that they can get a turret. Because this composition doesn't want to be engaged on. You do have a large advantage, but when you're systematically picking your opponent apart, don't deviate from your ways. Continue to do that. Continue to be like, our shot calling is much faster and crisper than theirs.
Yep.
More crisp, I guess. And then you get to the objective faster. So they're just going to continue the pressure, continue getting dragons, and that's how they're going to win this game and possibly set up picks every now and then. I don't see them forcing an objective haphazardly.
Yeah, it seems like not the case for CounterLogic Gaming. They're going to be able to hold this lead, and the number I want to watch is that 8,000 mark. Without any more turrets for CLG to be able to kill very easily, because inhib turrets are real friggin' hard to kill, what does happen to the gold lead? Of course, Dragon 3 means Dragon 5s in 12 minutes, 37-30, about when that's going to happen. But until that mark, what does happen to the minion lines and maybe the outer turrets of CLG if Dig can get a couple? If the gold gets closer, or even if it stays at 8,000 gold but is later on in the game, that does count as a shrinking lead for CLG.
I feel like CLG are just going to group up and keep this advantage pushing. I don't think it's going to get any wider until they get turrets, but that's the thing is Dignitas is just we clear wave, you clear wave, it's back and forth. Nobody's going to really off-farm and grow anything for themselves, especially since Zion Spartan doesn't have his teleport available anymore. This is going to be looking for picks from CLG, trying to bait objectives, and then as soon as they get a pick, they'll crack the base with their superior numbers. It's the safe shot calling and it's very reserved, but it works.
And indeed it is working. CLG with very few mistakes this game at all. They have 6 times the turret kills of their opponents. Dignitas off the wings do know that CLG are waiting around. They have the inside track in the mid lane. Problem is they're outnumbered, but no Tristana means it's a 5v4 for a short time. Double's getting pulled in now. Aftermu, will he look for the engage? Black Shield and Kassadin, of course, can make that difficult.
Double is going to continue to push. They don't want them to back. They're trying to push them off to the side so that they can't reach that top turret fast.
There's a really good way for the top lane turret. It's going to be the ulti in from Rek'Sai to try to defend this sooner. It looks like Cloudwind will be able to AoE just enough to keep that turret from getting solo pushed.
But now Zion's cutting the mid wave so that pushes up faster as well. And now comes the siege where the wave clear of Dignitas is really going to hurt them.
Ooh, Double's on a half HP, but he had, of course, picked an early Vamp Scepter up to make sure he could sustain and stay part of these sieges so that he couldn't get pushed out by Cass. I like that item choice here. CLG once again back over to Baron, though, after they realized, okay, the hour dash didn't quite work.
Dignitas has zero vision of this area. They have no idea what's going on.
And they just know that the team ran over there. Blue Trinket is up for CoreJJ. Doesn't need to use it. Once again, spotted out. Bit of a wasted Blue Trinket. They actually have Rek'Sai spot them. Smithy gets bound. And down to half health right now, actually.
That's really big. They don't want to engage this when Smithy is that low. CLG has more reserve shot calling than that, but they might just stay off inside of in the brush. They see Smithy though.
They know he's there, but are they willing to fight? Now keep in mind, Sorcerer Elixir is there for Gamsu.
So yeah, he's still going to stay here. And he's just, that's it. He's going to rely on the Warmog's passive out of combat to heal him back up. I love this item, by the way, on Junglers. More and more, I'm loving this Warmog just because of the passive regen.
Looks like a lot of it's going to be nice here for Xfinity, though he's still getting AoE slowly down by Baron Nashor. The 3 members of CLG are taking it down. It's down below half at this point, but Dignitas are coming in to say hello. Ulti comes in, they bind Link, and the Equalizer only gets a couple of these targets. After takes a whole bunch of damage up front, though, and the first kill comes through. Now CoreJJ pushed out by Link, and off on the sides, Gamsu forced run away. Great charm flash from Link, catches the 80 carry. Aftermu taking as much as he can, gets us out of the shifter. 3 kills in a row picked up with no consequence for CLG.
The back and forth there, just going in and out of the fight. They are actually turning back towards Baron right now, but they're just getting coverage of it. I don't know if they could actually just take it out. It's extremely strong.
Well, they're going to try. Aftermu's going to put the shield up and tank what damage he can.
All 5 of them are there.
Yeah, plenty safe here. No chance for Kiwi Kid and Gamsu to stop this. And a 29-minute Baron for CounterLogic Gaming puts them now 11,000 gold ahead.
There we go. Now Double is going to shove this top wave out, then back for as much gold as possible. And I love this fight because you see CLG going back and forth. As soon as they see Dignitas focus somebody, they do their damage and then they back off. Double is just saying on the edge of this fight, his damage isn't actually that high here, but he jumps in, goes after Kiwi Kid, swaps to Shifter, then goes out of the fight, and then tags Smithy in, who's still very low. So it's go in, use your cooldowns, swap out with somebody else who was waiting on their cooldowns, and then just keep doing that back and forth.
And very nicely played. Means CLG, the 3 for 0 and Baron and all that fun stuff. They also didn't lose too much on the recalls anyway, so people being dead means not much happened. The bottom lane outer did eventually go down. So Dignitas are on the board with 2 turret kills here, but CLG now splitting up. 1 minute till Dragon. That would be number 4 for them. Using the Baron buff on as many minions as possible to push into the base.
And a Magi's on Link here. He hasn't died, so definitely not too much of a gamble. They see seem to have a very good foothold in this game on CLG's side. That fourth dragon would give them a lot of power. But then the fifth, and the threat of a fifth, is really big against Dignitas. A lot of people don't want to give that up and sometimes just say it's now or never and decide to fight.
Yeah. Well, Dignitas have been trying to fight, though. They contested Baron, and that went really poorly, and the gold only got worse since then. Here comes the push for the bottom lane inhibitor
God, that
turret.
turret's gonna blow
A
up.
giant chunk comes out, and CLG now open for the inhib. They've still got the Baron buff for 2 more minutes, and there goes inhibitor number 1, 30 minutes into the game. CLG can back out, 20 seconds till Dragon 4.
The destructive power of Tristana's E, the explosive shot, the explosive charge, is huge. It has an AD scaling ratio on it to turrets.
Yeah.
It is ridiculously powerful.
So far, so good. Maximizing the damage to turrets pretty much as much as possible.
But I
A
love
lot
the
of
fact
AD.
they're playing to that.
Yep.
Right? It's on double lift to know that you have to just rotate Tristana between everything. And Afromu picked this Braum to defend him while he's sieging.
Oh, but the flash engage comes in, a whole bunch of AoE, and they do pick up double lift. A 1-for-0, but Cloudwind forced to run away. CoreJJ, though, gets a second. The zoning from Shifter keeps him alive. The counter engage comes in. They do trade a kill back, but Zion Spartan now getting attacked. The bind lands. Smithy doesn't get any damage in. It's a 3-for-1 so far. Dignitas finally find the defense.
And I was saying Afromu picked this Braum to defend double lift while he's sieging, and immediately double lift gets jumped on when Afromu isn't there. Cloudwind looks like he's looking for this, though.
Wants to find the tunnel into the knockup, but Link would one-shot him. He's got to be pretty afraid of
Very
this
aggressive
one.
call. He'd have to back off. Yeah.
Back
Dragon
again.
is live right now. You just take this Dragon to make sure that CLG doesn't get a fourth one.
Oh, they're here, though. Where's the rest of the team? Are they really going to bait themselves into this one? Link and Xmithy, they're waiting out the Vault Breaker. Xmithy backs out. His smite is up. Not going to grab it. Dragon number 1 finally goes to Dignitas' way.
So you put a little bit longer on this game if CLG is going to close it out with 5 dragons. So Dignitas picking that one up for themselves is really good. Delays it, starts getting them on the board. But the fact that CLG was out of position.
Oh, hold on. Teleport
Look
with
at
Zion.
this.
Spartans in. Wow. Gamsu already goes down. CLG.
They're already in position to push again. They have
They don't have
waves
Triss.
coming bottom right now. They don't have Tristana, but it doesn't matter. They're still going to shred this turret.
And that is indeed a turret kill after all. A giant wave coming from the bot side as well. And Tristana going to be joining the team in the next 15 seconds. CLG, they could backdoor the top lane turret or just get vision control.
They're going to go top. They're going to shove this out. And then they're going to start getting that last inhibitor turret. Back, spend all your money there. Link is currently sitting on 8 stacks of Ajay, so not too many just yet. But look at this. Afromu backed up, waiting for the minion wave, and it caught double lift unawares. And Afromu unawares, he was not there to defend him. They start going on Shifter, but he has the Zonias, and Zion doing the best he can to get a counter kill onto Shifter, but he gets taken out here. And then just Xmithy and Link. And Link blew his ultimate. Link's damage up, but this isn't the Ahri that's just still blowing people up ridiculously with her W. She's taking a little bit of hits.
What's crazy is actually the nerfs were primarily to the range of her abilities, which would say, oh, you know, Link has a higher chance of dying. Still 0.
Yeah.
Okay, a little bit of damage off W, but again, the nerfs were largely range-based, and Link's been playing around those quite well. Props to him. People had a lot of questions about how Link would do with CLG. We've asked this question a couple times. He's always answered pretty darn well.
Oh yeah, he's been looking phenomenal. He's always been a bright spot of this team. And the thing that's impressed me is his champion pool. He always hasn't been known for that guy who's playing a ton of different things, but he's playing what the team needs. He can play in Italy, he can play somebody who's going to help him with the pick. Look at this, he's also going to play somebody who's going to help him get that last inhibitor.
And the last inhibitor down, taking some health, and right
Oh,
away,
man.
Cloudwind gets picked up by himself. Can CoreJJ have the rest of the damage his team needs? Equalizer doesn't seem to do much, and in comes the engage. Vi and Ahri together. Link is now dominating. And another kill for Zion Spartan. It's actually a double in this fight. The back line is completely safe as Double Lift squeaks by with his first kill of the battle. And now CLG with all 3 inhibitors down. Look at the Nexus.
That's going to be game here. CLG with an immaculate performance in how to rotate, how to play this new Tristana. You don't take the team fights, you kill the structures.
And they kept the gold lead the entire way through an 18K gold lead at the end. Counter Logic Gaming. Still only 2 losses halfway through the split. Fans have got to be proud of these guys. This squad has come together very well so far in spring 2015.
Scar said in his vlog that they're going to bounce back stronger than ever. That was the cleanest we've seen them in objective control and map rotation so far.
Definitely very good. I saw one misstep, double lift overstaying the turret, didn't expect the flash
that was
rectify
a
on
big
Burrow.
blunder.
And, I mean, to be fair, that is good on Dignitas. That they were down all game long, really, really rough to have a level 1 like that backfire. You expected to go so well. And, look, there were some misfires. Them staying around on that top lane turret in the lane swap where they were getting 0 XP but stayed for four waves anyway, those are some mistakes, sure. But
CLG.
Dignitas found some ways to try to claw back in a couple of decent fights.
Yeah, CLG are going to test your shot calling to the limits.
Yeah.
They're really going to be, like, that's the thing with shot calling, is as soon as stuff goes down, your shot caller has to respond and tell the right people to go to the right place at the right time.
Yes.
If you allocate the wrong people, you're like 2 people go top and deal with this one guy, they immediately punish you with 4 on the other side.
Yeah, you don't want to
CLG test your limits.
Absolutely. You don't want to get left behind if you don't make the right call, certainly. Dignitas, still some learning to do. The game was not 100% over off of the level 1 play. There were certainly things you could have done from there. You can't just say, well, level 1, game's over. Not the case at all. We've seen games come back from these kinds of situations. But a team like CLG won't give you a lot of room to breathe. Certainly very nice play by these guys. And down the line, you had great performances from almost every single member of this roster. You had Link going deathless, like Smithy on Vi went deathless, double lift. A bunch of assists because he's the turret killer, right? So turret kills I think should count on that one. So that would like inflate the KDA or something.
I love that
did his
Double
job.
is able to kind of be supplemental turret damage instead of this frontliner, because we saw him in his game versus TSM just trying to dive in and trying to make a play. Here, just sit back, let your team do a lot of the work, and your job is to hit the damn turret, as D-Man would say.
Yeah, and he did that. Double lift did a good job of that one. And
D-Man's favorite player right now.
yeah, he hit the turret
That was his only job.
without any pause whatsoever. And it's cool to see that comp come through. We were going through champ sec and we're like, my God, they only have 1 damage dealer. This is really risky. But you brought out, the Braum is there to try to protect Tristana. Ahri is there to make sure that just the mid lane goes well, so there is no losing lane. CLG pulled the lane swap off to make sure that they could actually start pressuring turrets from the very beginning. They don't want to get bogged down in a rough 2-on-2 where Braum is kind of weak to Morgana, to be completely honest. All those things strategically went really soundly for Counter Logic Gaming. Found the lanes they wanted, found the matchups they wanted. Turret, 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 turret. Very great play.
I think it's a really great way to play this game on this current patch. Like, we've said it a million times, but Dragon not giving gold, it's hard to get these large gold leads. But when you have turret destruction on your side and you play to that strength, it gives you an early gold lead. I think we're going to see more of these types of compositions in the future. Because we used to see teams that take early dragons and then snowball that into ward coverage because you have the gold into item spikes. Now I think we're going to start seeing turret destruction teams.
Right. Your goal is to get the turret kills. Use the gold lead to then get dragons, and that's your insurance policy. But yes, primary objective, the turrets, the gold leads, and keeping yourself up like that. Great job by CLG. Right now, they're going to send it down to Riv, who's standing by with CLG's man in the top lane.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I am joined by Zion Spartan from the victorious Counter Logic Gaming over Team Dignitas. Now 7-2 on the split. Not too shabby. You guys are looking good. Something I like is that Counter Logic Gaming puts an objective on the plate in the beginning of the game. This isn't the first time you guys have gone hard with your duo past the first tier turret and kind of denying that CS. Is this something you guys come into the game with, or you guys say, hey, we can do it again this game, let's hit it?
Well, I mean, we always have like a plan of what we want to do with like the comps we run and the champions we have, but we're always ready to think on the fly and like change our strategy. In that game, like they jumped on us like 5-man, like that's the last thing you'd expect, like 5 people sitting in the wolf camp, like trying to jump on you. And the second they jumped on us, we're able to like recoup and be like, okay, Rek'Sai, Rek'Sai, Rek'Sai. And since we had Braum, who's such a strong level 1 champion, we just were able to crush them at the beginning. And just like that quick adaptation to be able to focus Rek'Sai, really, I think that's what won us the game.
Yeah, the early game, obviously the analyst desk is going to go over that as well. It was a huge part to this game. In your bottom lane, Double Lift and Aframu have always been able to kind of come up with these plays on a top laner and give them trouble. As a top laner yourself, how should you approach that kind of 2v1 or even 3v1 situation if you get put in that early?
Well, I'm the type of player who always likes to, like test my limits, see like how much farm and like even if I can like kill them. But something Double Lift always tells me is like, it should be like a privilege to see us in that 2v1, and that's kind of like how I've been like slowly playing that more, like, going for the farm when I can and being more safe, because any farm you can get is basically just amazing when you're playing 2v1 and you're getting starved out. So you basically just have to be grateful for every CS, and that's how you kind of want to play a 2v1.
Well, it could be that way coming up with your next match. Obviously, Cloud9 is going to be tough. How is Counter Logic Gaming approaching that?
We're definitely not going to take them lightly. Cloud9 always tries to come back towards the end of the split. No matter what happens in the beginning, they always come back strong for playoffs. So we're definitely not sleeping on them. I think it's going to be a great game, and we're definitely going to have to do a lot of preparation.
All right. Good luck tomorrow. Good luck on the win, or best of luck tomorrow, and good job on the win. Now we're going to throw it to the guys to the analyst desk to break down that win.
Thank you, Riv. And Kobe, that game, it comes down to basically what happened at level 1. It's hard to analyze anything beyond that because of how well CLG played the early advantage off of the level 1 fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's the level 1 and the way they played the lane swap afterwards. They just got such a huge lead. So let's pull this up again. Let's pull this up on the telestrator. Yes.
Boom. Nice.
All right, so this level 1, let's first go over this. Because CLG, yes, they're just trying to get wards down for their lane swap because they have Tristana. However, look at the team for a level 1. They've got Braum, who is one of the best for level 1 because he can apply this slow and you can chase people down, plus you get the stun from his passive. Meanwhile, Dignitas, they actually don't have bad level 1 either because they have Morgana and they have the vision advantage. The problem is they don't play to their vision advantage. They would really like to binding somebody, maybe the last person that goes through, and then focus on that one person and kill them because they've got Rumble who takes Electro Harpoons, single target instead of getting the Flame Spitter, and they have Kassadin who sucks level 1 but could do single target damage. And we'll roll this through and we can see Dignitas, they don't wait and try and single somebody out with their Dark Binding. They hit double lift in the middle and immediately Rek'Sai flashes in with Burrow. He doesn't have any more damage after that because he didn't go with Q, and he doesn't have his flash, so he can't even continue to auto attack in the level 1. He has to walk all the way out. And that's one of the biggest strengths in level 1 is their shot calling to focus auto attacks of champions onto a single target. Because everybody only has one spell at level 1, auto attacks do the majority of the damage. CLG are the ones who call that out better. They have an easy focus since Rek'Sai is in the middle. Okay, everybody focus Rek'Sai. And so then that's how the level 1 goes.
Yeah, that's how the level 1 goes. We're going to speed through this just so we can see how CLG then decided to play the advantage, having gotten the 2 kills and also recognizing what summoners were blown and things like that.
Yeah, and the other thing here, look at Afro move. He is a melee support up here, just smashing Gamsu in the face, not letting him get any experience at all. They're taking that little advantage they had from the level 1 and just beating him over the head with it. Afromu continues to zone him. The presence up there is huge. Meanwhile, they also had those lane wards, so they saw Gamsu come up. They know that he's level 1, and they're calling Smithy to come over for the strong side invade. So even though they have Morgana coming in, it's still going to be a level 1 Rumble and a level 1 Morgana versus the level 3 Trist, level 3 Vi, and level 2 Braum. So how you could take the chance of actually hugging this turret with the 2 level 1 champions, you know, and hoping to trade and get a kill on the way out, they actually decide just to abandon it altogether. At this point, you've made the call to abandon that turret. You have to swing somewhere else.
Well, and that's the astonishing thing here, is that Dignitas opted into this starvation situation here when they had the option to maybe go back into their jungle, right? I feel like at this point you have to be willing to say, we're giving up our turret. We're not going to get it. We're not getting that experience either. Let's make the best of a bad situation.
Yeah, it seems like they're like, okay, we're going to send Morgana up there. You guys can, you know, handle a dive because they already saw, you know, Zion's on the other side of the map. This won't be a 4 versus 2 dive. It'll be a 3 versus 2. But they still didn't want to take it and then just kind of hung around. After you have this huge of an advantage, denying 3 members experience for that long, it's so difficult to come back.
We had a 2K gold lead at 5 minutes in favor of CLG, along with 2 level 1 in your top laner and your support to the level 4, 3, 4, 3, like across the board. It's just, I don't, you know, you can't, it's just, at that point, yeah, it really is hard to, you know, to place value on anything that happens in the game after that. And so when it comes to breaking down things for Dig, they got a couple picks throughout the game. Fantastic. But given their team composition, they were in no position at any point during the game to kind of claw their way back into it.
Yeah, and I think revisiting the way, since they planned out the level 1 really well, they wanted to take advantage. They know teams are going to come in and place these wards to look for a lane swap. You know, they had the vision advantage. They had Morgana, the ability to pick, but they just jumped the gun a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunate there. Well, Cloud9 is going to be playing CLG, who just picked up that win. So both of those teams looking pretty good today. It'll be interesting to see who comes away with the win tomorrow. We do have to step away for just 3.5 while Team Solo Mid and Coast load onto the stage for our last match. We'll be right back.
Remember the Bane game where we pooped on you guys?
What?
And that was in Vulcan?
No.
I still remember that. You guys got pooped on in Dragon.
That happens a lot, man. I can't remember them all.
Wow.
One here, one here, one here.
Oh, they're here. Cut back.
Right side.
I'm walking forward.
I'm trying up at 6.
They're upstairs. They're
Hey,
upstairs.
Tristan, Go.
He's dead.
I got time up. Timing.
Back.
And off on the sides, Gamsu forced run away. Great charm flash from Link. Catches the AD carry. Aphromoo taking as much as he can. Gets us under the shifter. 3 kills in a row picked up. Flash engage comes in. A whole bunch of AoE. And they do pick up double lift. A 1-for-0, but Cloud9 forced to run away. Core JJ, though, gets a second. The zone is from shifter. Keeps him alive. And Core JJ have the rest of the damage. His team needs equalizer. Doesn't seem to do much. And in comes the engage. Vi and Ari together. Link is now dominating. Counter Logic Gaming. Still only 2 losses